I'm not usually one to rush out a video to capitalize on brand new stuff from Minecraft Live, but I did see the new Happy Ghast and thought it could be interesting to look into and figure out what's going on with it. So Minecraft Live showed us the Dried Ghast, which seems to be a little further into the life cycle than the Baby Ghast is from Dungeons. The Baby Ghast has clear skin, similar to how some fish have clear skin in their infancy. The lore has stayed consistent. As you can see, the Ghastling has the same pink salmon colour from their core, permeating from their gills and underside. The gills would be more like vents in their case, being a way to release internal heat when growing up in the scorching environments of the Nether. While they're younger as baby Ghasts, they're said to create accidental fireballs in their dungeon's description, which would no doubt be from their fiery core. In a way, they seem to act like living hot air balloons. This, alongside the heat of the Nether, would be the main reason for them drying out, as we see with the Dried Ghast. Like real life animals, some of them just don't make it to adulthood. If you haven't watched the previous video, which you should because we talk about this a bit more in depth there's a period of time where the pre-Nether hadn't been wiped out by the soon-to-be basalt deltas. It's possible that the Ghast definitely could have resided in a potentially more positive fashion, now forced to grow up in this more volatile environment. It reminds me of how some fish operate better at certain temperatures. I had an eel years back, which the tank that housed it got accidentally unplugged. While the surrounding fish didn't take it as well, the eel completely adapted to the temperature, but its behaviour changed, like making it slower and darker as its surrounding got colder. Like that eel and many fish in specific temperatures, the Ghast seems to have a more temperature-based way of acclimating to its surrounding environment, with the Ghasts that survive their younger years not succumbing to the flames of the Nether, developing natural fire resistance and stronger fireballs. However, if a Ghast is taken outside of its natural environment, it won't develop this affinity for fire nearly as well, especially if fed snowballs. Maybe enough to fly, but not enough to shoot explosive blasts. But what it lacks in fire, it gets back in joy. This is how the Happy Ghast functions. Though it can't shoot fireballs or really any projectile, it's much happier. This acclimation to the overworld's climate also prevents it from developing an immunity to fire and lava as we see in the Ghast race during Minecraft Live. This would likely mean that the Nether may not have been as icy as some people have theorized. Every part of the Ghast's natural development and physiology seems to be based in fire. Even the Happy Ghast has a fiery nature to it, as seen in the Ghastlings and Baby Ghast's internal redness, being able to naturally produce fireballs as well. However, that's not to say that the Nether wasn't cooler. At the very least, it was definitely more hospitable, as seen with the fossils of now long-gone creatures of immense size. This would likely explain why these Ghasts occasionally dry up in their youth. While their era of the Nether was hot, it may not have been nearly as hot and dry as it is now. Now, onto the weirdest part of the Ghasts. The Dried Ghasts are confirmed to be craftable? According to both Cubfan and Bobbycraft, Dried Ghast blocks are renewable and can be crafted with bone blocks and Ghast tears. Bobbycraft in particular made a whole video covering this new feature, showing off the crafting recipe. He even played with these blocks in the Mojang office, so his insights are definitely credible. Nonetheless, it is rather odd that this creature is craftable, but perhaps there's logic to it. Ghast tears have regenerative properties. They're a key ingredient in brewing potions of regeneration, and even end crystals, which heal the Ender Dragon. The crafting recipe for Dried Ghasts requires both bone blocks and Ghast tears. It could be that these tears are regenerating the tissues, not to heal the creature, but to create a new Ghast out of these bones. In a way, Ghast tears may serve a reproductive purpose. This might be why Ghastlings are found around the fossils of the Soul Sand Valleys. If the recipe is something to go off of, the abundance of bones and the presence of Ghasts would ultimately result in more baby Ghasts which would develop into Ghastlings. The unlucky ones would dry up near their birthplace afterwards. It also explains why Ghasts make such ghostly sounds akin to various soul-related things in Minecraft dungeons, such as the Wraith's unused puke sound effect. Another similar example comes from the Wisp, which makes similar cries to that of the Ghast. Their existence is a result of their tears falling upon that which is dead. It would only be fitting for their cries to echo them as well, almost like a natural form of necromancy. But instead of the undead, more Ghasts emerge. It really makes me wonder what the pre-Nether could have been like. The one shown here is just a visual aid and could have been completely different, with the Ghasts as the most intact remnant from before the supervolcanic event that shaped the Nether into what it is now. Perhaps their role in the ecosystem was different then. Their tears bring up a rather interesting idea. What if they're parasitic in nature? Their ability to turn the tissues of other mobs, such as bones, into a juvenile ghast is very striking. In many ways, it mirrors the strategies of real-life parasitoid wasps, which lay their eggs inside an insect host. Eventually, the new wasp will emerge, usually killing the host. Similarly, the nature of the Dried Ghast's crafting recipe parallels the reproductive cycle that pops up in viruses. Viral replication begins when a virus enters a host cell, before essentially tricking the organelles, the internal structures of the cell, to assemble more of itself using its genome as a set of instructions in a way. Afterwards, the cell releases these newly assembled viruses into the world to continue the process of infection, much to the detriment of the host. In the Nether's prime, Ghasts may have worked similarly with what are now the fossils of the Nether. Crying upon them, their tissues would be infected and regenerative, keeping the host alive long enough, while allowing for more and more Ghastlings to eventually develop. In a way, this type of symbiosis could have also been mutualistic in nature. While the Ghasts reproduce, the host animal might carry the regenerative properties of their tears, at the cost of sprouting baby Ghasts every once in a while. Alternatively, if the situation required it, the tears could work to regenerate dead organic tissue, which would then form into Ghasts that way as well. However, it seems as though with the loss of the Nether's megafauna, modern Ghasts must now rely on the latter in order to reproduce. Who knows though, maybe an unlucky piglin, still alive, could be sprouting these strange jellyfish-like creatures somewhere out there. Maybe be glad your potions of regeneration aren't their pure tears. Who knows what could happen. Man, we got the blood results back and I don't know how to say this, but your blood is crying. Could anything have caused this?
I don't know. I drink gas tears every other day, competitively.
There's ghast babies in your bloodstream. You need silverfish bites to live.
What?
There's a lot more that could be revealed in the future, as this drop is still only new, and there could still be more that we haven't picked up on yet. There is how the Happy Ghast's tentacles seem a little stubbier than the regular Ghasts, which may correlate to their state that requires them to be saved in the first place. But I'm interested to see what you guys think, so let us know in the comments. And with that, we have everything we can gather from the Baby Ghast, the new Dried Ghast, the Ghastling, and the Happy Ghast. If you enjoyed this short theory, consider subscribing. It always helps out. Thank you for watching, and have a good day or night.